the world breaks everyone, and afterward, some are strong at the broken places. Ernest Hemingway. Welcome to Get Real with Shamisa. I am your host, Shamisa Ali, and it is a pleasure to be here with you this evening. Tonight, we bring you a story that many residents have been affected, and today we have a young man who wants to step up and wants to bring awareness to what has been happening. He will join me soon, but in the meantime, how is everyone doing? I would like to know who is joining me tonight, so please feel free to leave comments as to why you're joining us tonight and really your purpose for being here this evening and watching this segment of Get Real with Shamisa. As promised, our guest tonight will touch on the recent Hurricane Ida that hit the region of New York and several other states. There were several fatalities, and Amit is here with us tonight to discuss how it has affected these residents here in Hollis and what has been done to help those victims. So bear with us. I do want this segment to be an interactive segment. So if you guys have questions, please let us know that you have for Amit, also for any one of us here on the panel who will be joining me shortly. So in the meantime, I do want to check in and see how everyone's doing, how their Christmas shopping, their holiday is going. So I'm looking at the comments to see how everyone's doing. Tonight's show is not our regular shows that we do on Wednesdays like those. It's going to be very interactive. We will take questions from our viewers. Also, I will be asking questions to Amit, and Amit will be going into details as to what happened. So bear with us, and in the meantime, I'm looking at your comments to see what your questions are, or why you're with us here tonight. Avinash Dukram, thank you for joining us, and good night to you. Shari Mohammed, always a pleasure having you here with us. Thank you for joining us, Nicholas Jainarine. All right, so guys, Amrit, good night to you. Else do we have? Atwaru Indar, thank you for joining us. So without further ado, I do want to take this moment and go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
NNS Algo Licensed Custom Brokerage Services Inc. is a Guyanese-owned and registered company located at Lot 49 Public Road, Kitty, Georgetown, with branch office at Lot 10-acre Media Ida on the west coast of Demerara. We offer an all-inclusive service, including delivery for all your commercial imports of air and sea cargo, containerized or LCL, vehicle and equipment, and much more. Make that call today, 225-5495, or visit our pages at www.nsalgobrokerage.com or find us on Facebook at NS Algo Brokerage.
Gavin sing at Rancho. Yeah, my liquor is my lover. I was born a drinker. Yeah, my liquor is my lover. I was born a drinker.
Enos Driving School offers training for CDL licenses, including tractor-trailers, trucks, and school buses. Just think, with a CDL license, you can have access to thousands of driving jobs at large companies such as FedEx, UPS, MTA, or New York Sanitation. Enos Driving School also offers defensive driving courses and training classes for cars and motorcycles, all taught by their college-trained instructors who can even schedule your road test appointments. Inquire about other driving and training packages as well. You might even be qualified for their free CDL training, as they are a certified institution with the New York State Workforce One program. Call Enos Driving School today. They've been serving our community for over 10 years.
Imagination Foundation. Since it has been founded in 2014, Imagination Foundation has been dedicated to providing recreational, educational, and health benefits to the less fortunate in Guyana. From awareness concerts to free concerts where thousands have attended, to annual back-to-school events, where hundreds of backpacks and school supplies are distributed so that children can start their year fresh and equipped to learn. Annual Christmas events with toys and games, providing hot meals to orphanages and the Dharmsala. Our team work hard and tirelessly. We are proud to consistently distribute hundreds of hampers throughout the pandemic, thanks to kind donors and sponsors and our founder. Look us up on Facebook if you would like to be part of this amazing movement. Imagination Foundation.
Shamiza. Tonight joining me is Mr. Muhammad Ali, and he is my co-host for tonight. Thank you for being here with us, Mr. Ali. How are you tonight?
Thanks for having me on the panel tonight. Doing good. I'm doing good. It's a
You're
long
not
day.
you're not convincing me that you're doing good.
I don't know. It's been a long day, you know. But you know, we're here tonight to find out how our community's been doing, and how we can help a family in need.
Yeah, and speaking of, it's been a long day. It's actually been a long weekend for us because we have been in and out of our homes. We basically come in to sleep and we head back out. We've been in many, in a few different events that community-based events. So we're very fortunate to have those opportunities, and we're grateful that we are given those opportunities to give back to our communities. So we do take our kids when we go out to a lot of these events and try to make sure everyone's comfortable while we're doing them. So with that said, I think it's time for us to go ahead and introduce our guest for tonight. Please welcome, but before we do that, I do want to ask for everyone's complete respect as we do introduce Amit. I would like you to, I know everyone has opinion and everyone has, their point of view, but please show respect, be kind, and, if you have things that you would like to share, let us know, but please be respectful. With that said, please welcome to Get Real with Shamiza, Amit Kumar, Shiv Prasad. Welcome, Amit. How are you?
Good night, guys. How you guys doing today? Thank you for having me on tonight.
Well, we're
We're good at it.
yeah, and we're happy to have you here this evening. So thank you for being here. Now, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Amit?
Sure. My name is Amit Shirprasad. I was born in Berbice, Guyana. Migrated to the United States at a very young age with my parents and my older brother. I've been working in the security technology field and security control daily operations for about 16 years now. Um, all I can remember is growing up in this area of Hollis where to so many childhood memories and all of that it was very good growing up. I could tell you that.
Now, you grew up here in Hollis, right? Can you
Correct.
tell us what it was like? Where did you go to school here in Hollis? Because I've been living in the area for 9 years now. I love this area, and the residents, very nice, friendly people. And I know you're just a few blocks from where I live. What was it like growing up in Hollis?
It was actually very quiet. I could tell you that it's a very family orientated community. I went to IS 238, Susan
Mhm.
B. Anthony, before graduating and went over to Jamaica High School. And right after Jamaica High School, I decided not to go to college. I went out and got a job to help my parents. So it's a Hollis has always been a very family oriented community, and it's to us and to me, it's where I wanted to grow up as a young man.
Got it. Now, um, I know you came here at a young age, and I spoke to your mom on Saturday, and she gave me a little history on raising her kids here in Hollis. Now take me to September 1st of 2021. How was that day for you?
Well, September 1st, 2021 will always be a sad day and a day that I regret that ever happened or wish it ever happened. But my day started as normal. I went to work, got into the office about 7 a.m., had a cup of coffee, went through my regular daily routines of dealing with all the COVID situation, COVID meetings, taking all the COVID calls. Left work about 2:30. Came home, went to the gym for about 2.5 hours. Came back home, had some dinner. Sat down. I'll never forget this. Sat down, watched CPL cricket tournament. It was Guyana Amazon Warriors versus the Jamaica Talawas, and it was middle of the game. All these flash flood warnings started coming to my phones, and we started doing our due diligence like we always do when we get these warnings. Make sure everything is prepared and secured whenever there's one of these warnings, because we know what could happen at any one moment or one time in this area of Hollis. That was what happened in about 10:15. I remember going downstairs. I ran back up, and I told my dad, I noticed in the corner of 90th Avenue, the water was starting to rise on the street. And we always do our due diligence. I ran, moved the truck, put it up the block. My dad went down to the basement, spoke to the family. We did everything with our due diligence that we're supposed to. And within no time, that entire block was flooded. The water kept coming and kept rising and rising, and there was nothing one could have done. It never went back down. It just kept coming
Wow.
up. And what I'll tell you, this is the most water I've ever seen in my life. I'm almost 6 feet tall, and that water's above my shoulder.
Above, wow. Now we do have a video that we do want to share with our viewers as to what Amit is speaking of with this incident. So take a look at what Amit is speaking about. All right, Amit, tell us, what is it that we just saw? I mean,
So
they can see what they would explain what was really happening at that point.
the first video, that was me actually walking down, trying to come back over 90th Avenue, walking to my house. At the end of that video, you could actually see the water hitting me back, and I almost fell down, but I was able to catch my phone before I actually fell. And the second video is what happened after I got back to the house. That's how high that water raised and got to that street level within less than a minute or two. And if you look in one of those video, in the front of that video, you can see the houses, how high it was. It was already up to the first floor. And a
Yeah.
lot of those houses, and there's nothing anyone could have done to prevent this. It's a disaster. I'm very sorry that this actually happened, but at the end of the day, that water was just too much. There was nowhere for that water to go.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, at this point, you saw the water rising. Um, what made you feel that you needed to go in the water and walk down the block and start videoing? Was it just because of the nature of what was happening, or did why did you feel the need to? Did you feel it was safe enough to do that at that point?
So we have a regular routine that we do every time water comes on that street. Each one of the homeowners, including my dad, myself, my neighbors, we would take one of those catch basins, as it's called, and we either get a shovel or something with a metal point, We make sure the edges are clear, that the water could reside or recede down. So every time it rains, that's our regular routine. So I was out there trying to clean it. At the same time, I saw how the water was getting, and I had to get a video in so people could see, and you could use this to show the officials that this problem is getting worse. It's not getting any better, and those are the reasons why I took the videos.
So you've experienced flooding in that area for quite some
Correct.
time. Is
This
that right?
this area, since I remember, this area has always been flooded. Since 2009, I've had pictures from 2009, 2010, 2011, 2015, 16,
Yeah.
17, 19, 20, and 21. It's
We'll
always
take a look
flooded.
at those. We'll take a look at those right now, Amit.
I take it this one was from some part of the house, or
Yeah, so this one is actually from a webcam.
Oh,
So you can see how high this was. If you look at this picture very carefully, look at the street sign, the parking sign.
yeah.
mm-hmm. Oh, that's amazing.
So that's in front of my house. As you can see how high that water was already. It's almost covering the gates.
Okay.
Great. So now, leading up to this, which no one knew what was going to happen, right? Were residents asked to evacuate the area? Was there any warning from officials that, this might be something very serious? We feel that you should, leave your home, go somewhere else. Was there any warning at all from anyone that this might
Absolutely
be
not.
very serious?
Absolutely not. There was no warnings. There was no one even came out. I called 311 the day before to make sure that the catch basins was clean, and no one showed up. They all showed up the day after.
Okay. Now you've explained to us that this area has some specific details as to how the location is and there is a history behind it. Can you share with the viewers what the history is behind the location of where these residents that was badly affected, what the history is about this area?
So keep in mind, we found out we actually did a little. I did a lot of research on my own as to backdate information regarding Hollis, and I came up with a map of a story that was done. And 183rd Street and 184th Street is actually sitting on top of a pond. It's called oh boy, I can't remember the name, but it's definitely a pond, and you can see it in the map that is showed where the exact locations of the streets are. Keep in mind, this is not a flood zone by any way or form. It's not even on FEMA as a flood zone. It's just nothing. DEP never knew there was a map of pond here. When we reached out to them, they were surprised. They took the maps and they said they were going to look into it. No one knew that this was that 183rd and 184th Street is actually sitting on top of a pond.
Wow. Now, this has happened a few months ago. What sort of relief has residents gotten from the city, the state, insurance companies, relief agencies? Have you guys seen what sort of help you've been getting, or what has been happening since then?
So just keep in mind, this is almost 4 months now, and I know there's people still haven't heard from FEMA. They haven't had some people haven't had any inspections as yet. Insurance company pretty much denied everyone in that area. Some people got $36, $86, $800, $500 from FEMA. Keep in mind that's not going to do anything to repair anything. There's no help from the state. There's no help from the city. They said this is the federal government has to handle this. I went out to the federal government. They said the state and city has to control that. So there's people in dire needs of financial assistance from the state, the city, and FEMA and the federal government to help them rebuild to what normal life was before September 1st.
So, do you feel insurance companies should be held responsible by our officials that's been elected for cases like this?
Absolutely. First off, insurance companies acting like they're the victims during the claim process. You call them to report a claim, the first thing they tell you, "Oh, we're sorry." They're, it doesn't make any sense. They're just stealing the people's money. That's all they're doing. People are filing for claims and for things that they have in their policies. These is what they're paying for. Not to be told that. I'll give you an example. You have a sewer coverage, a sewer backup coverage, but you won't be given any money because the water came from the street. First of all, for the water to get into the sewer, it has to be on the street. So the
Right.
insurance companies are getting away with this. They're doing everything and throw propagandas to these elected officials to make as they're looking at the best interests of the people, but they're not. They're just stealing people's money, plain and simple.
Go ahead.
So they what did the insurance company ever offer flood insurance for that area at all?
So I'm happy you asked that question because a few before we did our insurance policy, my dad specifically asked the insurance company he wants flood coverage as part of his homeowner's coverage. He was told that they do not sell flood insurance because it's not a flood zone. FEMA doesn't have this as a flood zone, and the insurance companies don't have this as a flood zone. And they will not sell flood insurance. They're only going to sell homeowners insurance to the customers and people that live in that area.
All right. Um, Go ahead. You have something else?
Um, Now, have you through this process right now? Have you learned like how to deal with the insurance company? Do you have any like ways or message that you can share through this process? Just in that,
Absolutely.
particularly. Okay.
Absolutely. So there are a few things, and this is all for homeowners who's on here tonight, and anyone that wants to buy a house. Please read your coverage before you sign that deal with the insurance companies. Learn what the different packages are. Learn what exactly they cover. What you're entitled to when there's a flood, if you do have flood coverage. Some places will give you 80% only of the flood coverage that you're entitled to. Most places will give you zero. I was told by a senior member of one of the insurance company, unless your house has physically collapsed to the ground, you will not get anything as a full coverage from the insurance company. So please, homeowners, anyone that wants to gonna buy a house, please, when you take out your homeowners insurance and flood insurance, please read it very carefully and the fine details. There's little clause in each one. Please read them. It'll definitely save you a lot of money and save you a lot of headaches.
Now, I do want to remind our viewers that this is an unfortunate situation. There were fatalities that happened during this incident, but this could be any one of us, right? This could be areas that none of us think that it will happen in. It happened, right? These guys were
A-
told that they're not in a flood zone. They don't need flood insurance, and here they are, flooded out, and they don't have a lot of options. So, Amit, I know when the incident happened, several officials actually visited the area. As a matter of fact, I think the president was set to visit, and then something happened and that changed. But we had, I believe, the mayor, the governor, and several other officials that visited that area at the time. What can you tell us about that visit by these officials?
So we had the governor, the mayor, all the senators, congressmen, congresswomen, all the city assembly, local district, and city council members all visited on the morning of September 2nd. The mayor and the governor's exact words were, "We're gonna build New York and the affected areas from Hurricane Ida to what it was back before." These were their promises they made to everyone that was at that press conference. Unfortunately, we never had a chance to talk to the governor or the mayor. They just did their media talk and they all left. We were told, and I'm going by their words, that everyone will be given the appropriate funds to have the rebuild and build back better from before Hurricane Ida. It's almost 3 4 months now, and we're still waiting for that for those financial help as was promised.
And I know you, Amit, you're not just sitting there hoping and just you've been reaching out to different offices, different people. You've been trying every possible way not to only get yourself help, but residents of that area. Can you tell us who are some of the people that you've reached out to? What is the feedback they're giving you? Or what is it that they're telling you at this point?
Absolutely. So I have gone so far to the vice president, to the president of the United States, to all congressmen, to the governor, the deputy governor, the mayor's office, all the city council officials in our area, our state assembly officials. I even reached out to former presidents. I reached out to President Obama, President Bush, President Donald Trump, President Clinton. I even reached out to our weather Mr. John Kerry for climate change and resilience. And those are all people that I've been reaching out to bring awareness to what's going on in this area. I want them to come out. I want everyone to come out and see. And I wish everyone on your show tonight, Shamisa, could come out and look at this area that we're on 183rd Street. Um, it's a very sad thing where we are. We're directly in the middle of a valley. I call it a dead valley. That's how bad this street is. And it's very sad. And I do hope officials to come back out and keep up those promises as they were doing before.
Well, I hope that something can be done, and it's hopefully done sooner than later, because those residents truly need help. I was there on Saturday, and it was just hurt. It was so painful to watch and see residents of that area, the help that they need. We actually had a visit of your home, which right now is not accessible to your family or yourself. It is
Correct.
not a place. It's a zone that you cannot be in. But we do have a video. Excuse that there was a lot of conversations happening, but just take a look and see what we're really talking about, what Amit is talking about, other than the water that came in, what the actual basement looks like, and it will give you an idea of the kind of damage that was done that evening. Wow.
I mean, as far as you know, your house was really damaged from the foundation. Pretty much, it's I believe you got an order to vacate because it was unsafe to be there. Correct?
Correct. That's correct.
Is there any other houses in the neighborhood? Was it affected as badly as yours?
There is at least 5 or 6 houses as of right now, as we're speaking, that has major foundation issues. I could give you, for instance, a house right across the street from us to the corner. They have at least a 10 to 20 feet crack in their foundation wall where it's snapped in half. There's another house across the street that you literally could see if you're standing in the basement. You could actually see the outside of their backyard from inside through that crack on the foundation. So there are houses that have foundation compromise, and they're gonna have to go through almost the same thing we're doing and fixing it back and getting the foundation rebuilt and go back to have a normal life to live. But as of right now, we're the only family that's out that cannot live in their own house.
Um, and the fatalities, it was only at your house, or was there any other in the neighborhood?
No, it was only at our house.
All right. And again, our condolences to the families, of the victims of that flooding. For
Right.
for all uh, victims for Hurricane Ida in New Jersey and New York.
Right. As a matter of fact, that evening that it happened, there were several states that had fatality. And I think the death toll is up to about 15 to 20 at the last count. And those are ones that was reported, right? There were young kids, babies, as a matter of fact, and elderly that passed during that hurricane. And it was a lot of it had to do with flooding. So, to everyone, for the fatalities, we our condolences to the family that has lost their loved ones, and I hope that there is, for the residents who were affected, there is some sort of relief. And tonight, that's where we're here. We're trying to find the people who survived that. How can we help them? What is our community doing? What is our elected officials doing? And how, as a community, we can come together and find help for these residents of that area.
Um, and as you can see, one way of of helping Amit is out there, talking to everyone he can talk to. Now, Amit, is there a committee that you've helped to form, or is there anyone else with you that is trying to reach out to other folks from the neighborhood?
Yeah, we have a few members of our community that's doing that. Amrita Bagwandin is one of the person who's been working. So we've been working together and trying to get all the officials and try to reach out to all the different agencies and everyone out there. We also have my younger brother, and I was like calling Japanese Singh, who has been working with me and helping me set up protests and do different things in the community and try to get help for everyone at the same time, along with my brother Vishal Hardawar, who's also a big part of helping and bringing awareness to the community as well from his community board position. So these are folks that's always there and always been. We're trying to get help for everyone in this community. We're not doing this for ourselves.
I totally agree with you, Ahmed. I do want to take a few comments. Ryan Rai Ramdin says, Brother Amit, the Ramdin family are always supporting you. Sherry Mohammed says, Amit, you're doing a great job. Keep fighting for what you believe in. Ash says, what can we as the viewers do to help? Can we get a petition started? And I also see Ravindra Ramtran. He says people are still waiting for money in Far Rockaway and parts of Long Island for money from Hurricane Sandy. Even the city of New York to build a wall downtown to ease flooding. So we cannot deny the fact that there is some major problems in New York when it comes to our city and how it's structured. As a matter of fact, you did show us and told us about several constructions happening in the area. And when I spoke to several residents on Saturday, they their opinion, and again, I want everyone to know none of the things that we're discussing here tonight, they're their opinions of residents, right? There is facts it's presented, but we still have to do research. I like to do my little bit of research, whether it's what the news said and what Amit is saying, right? So the residents, their concern was that there were several construction in that area, and they think that's one of the major problems that led to this. Amit, what is your opinion about that?
Honestly, I agree with everyone 100%. And all the details we're presenting as homeowners and members of this community is actual facts. We don't make up anything. We're telling you as we saw what we witnessed and what has happened. So this construction has been going on for the last 2 years. Um, since the construction started, I could tell you every time it rains, the street floods. Every single time, because each one of these catch basins are covered by the construction company to ensure no debris or anything goes into the system as they're working on it. Um, they, as I'll call it, and I'll say this very raw, they jackhammered that street for 18 months by putting sheet piles at least 20 to 35 feet down. A perfect example is one day I heard my mom screaming. I went, she was on the floor. She fell off the bed from the jackhammering that they were doing in the street. She went down, complained to the chief supervisor. He told her to call the city. We called 311. They said a confirmation number would not be given to you. So who do we report these things to? Their constructions, the engineers have never spoke to a single homeowner what exactly they're doing and what the plans are. We had to find out as each step were going on. During a jackhammer or piling or sheetrock, they're supposed to have an on-site engineer to check each one of the houses. No one never went out to anybody's house to check anything to see if there was any foundation damages or any cracks or anything was broken. No one did anything. So as far as I'm concerned, that construction only made it worse. And to back that up, our city council, local city council members sent a letter to the mayor and the governor saying the construction errors have led to the cause of more flooding and deaths on that block. So the construction played the biggest part in what was been going on to regards to Hurricane Ida.
Now, is this a picture of what you're talking about?
Yes,
Emmett?
so if you look, that's the new sewer system they're putting on. That's right in front of my house where they cut those streets open. And you literally could see what they did to the street. The foundations, the only thing that was left was the sidewalks.
Wow.
And that's what they were putting in. But in order to get this done, they had to jackhammer every single thing down. You can see those sheet piles right there. They had to hydraulic jackhammer those down to get down to about 25 to 30 feet before they install those new sewer basins.
Wow. Go ahead.
So there's I guess there's someone. I'm not asking you to blame someone, but there's definitely someone, is responsible for all this. Um, city council members, construction workers. You've pretty much looked under every rock, pretty much looking for answers. And
Correct. And the thing is, we're not looking to blame anybody. We need accountability. DDP, DDC, who designed this project, the engineers, the city engineers, they all need to take a little bit of responsibility and a little bit of accountability here. They know this is a field project. Every one of the construction workers told us, from the main superintendent, that this is a field project. For this system to work, they have to do every single street from 179 to 214 in order to make this system work efficient and perfect. So you cannot do this on one street and expect the running water from everywhere else to just disappear. It's not going to happen.
And they had to shut down the sewer system in certain areas, right? And
Correct.
In
They had
order for
to,
all the
as far
water
as
to run
pumps,
down your street.
correct. As far as we know, the pumps weren't connected. There were no pumps that pumped any water out. The chief superintendent of the construction project told us when they started to dug the street, they didn't know where the water was coming from. There were water coming from at least 5 different directions. And it seems that one little main point in 90th Avenue in the first video where the water was coming up the manhole, that's where the main connection is for all the water in this area that's to run down to 183rd Street through that new system that they're building. But keep in mind, that system is not completed yet. They're still working on it on Jamaica Avenue and 183rd Street right now.
So when they started this, they had no plan of how to get rid of any flooding if it was going to happen.
No, because all they kept
start.
saying, there was going to be no more flooding. And every time you showed them a picture of when it rains for more than 5 minutes, they said that's impossible.
That's impossible, even though you were providing them with
Pictures.
evidence?
So I'll give you for example. One day it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and the entire street flooded from about 5 minutes of heavy rain. We took a machete. My dad did, and I did, and my neighbors did, because each one of those catch basins was covered with an orange color mat that stops any rocks or any bricks or anything from going in to the catch basin or the sewer system. So in order for the water to go down, we had to cut each one of those with lightnings and everything flashing. We did it. We risked our own lives to make sure that water went away. But keep in mind, this is what the construction company is saying, that this is not supposed to happen when you show them this.
Wow. Now, Amit, it seems like there are many different parties involved in this situation. We can look at the construction, we can look at the city. The blame can go on and on. But tonight, we're not here to blame. What has happened already. What you're asking for is some sort of relief, some way to get help so that your parents can actually move back into their home. The residents in that area can start repairing and getting back to normalcy, which they haven't been able to do in the last few months. Uh, and with that comes a price. And that price can be very extensive, right?
That's
As a
correct.
matter of fact, you've gotten several quotes from different
Yep.
companies, and it's just, it's almost like just building a house from scratch. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So that's correct. So I'll get a perfect example is I'll give our house as an example because that's the code that I got. Just to redo
Right.
the electricity in that house will cost almost $20,000 to $30,000. To redo the entire plumbing system, which was completely destroyed from the Russian water, will cost 30 to 40,000. To do the foundation is going to be at least 85 to 90,000. And in order to make it completely, it'll run you up at least $250,000 just to get everything completely fixed. And keep in mind, we're not getting help from anybody, from anywhere. So this is all money that we had to find. I already applied for 2 loans. I'm still waiting. They're still pending, and I'm waiting for them to get back in contact with me regarding that. But keep in mind, now I'm going to be paying 2 loans plus a mortgage just to get this house fixed.
Right. Um, Go ahead.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge undertaking for you. Um, uh, Hopefully, you'll be able to sort it out, and maybe FEMA will come through and would be able to help repay some of that debt that you're going to undertake. Um, you said you just completed the process of doing the loans?
So I
How are
did
you?
about. So we did the we. So we went when we did the FEMA application. We went into taking all the documentation. My dad, who's the application for FEMA is under, went over. They sent them over to the SBA, the Small Business Loan section. So I did the application under his name. He got denied because of his age. They told him because he's 71 years old that his time to pay back the loan will not be enough because he will not be alive when the loan will be paid back entirely. So I went back a few weeks later and I said, okay, can the loan be transferred over to my name? So keep in mind, this is FEMA telling us to go apply for a loan after I filed my FEMA application. So you already knew that there's less help was coming from FEMA. So I went, I applied, so I did all the documentation, I sent everything, I explained to them exactly what happened, and I'm still waiting for them to get back or get the loan or sort of closing stage or the final part where it needs to be signed and dispersed of the funds. As far as I know, that's all still pending. I've not gotten back any information from them since the last time I called them up.
Did they assign anyone to the case, to your case, or are they working on it? Do
So
you
there was
have any information?
no. So the way the SBA works is they have different stages. So first, there's somebody that calls you to take your information. They pass it on over to the inspection department. They came out twice, did their inspection. They are passing it on to a different department now that take care of verifying all your tax documents, your deeds, all of those documents with property taxes, insurance. And then from what I was understanding, it moves to a different stage where it might be the closing stage or the part where the more documentation is needed. So it's different
Right,
stages
that's
as you go right along.
correct for the loan process. But I guess my question was anyone assigned to your case from FEMA, from their end? Is FEMA himself looking into it, or are they kind of like wash their hands and or walking
No,
away?
they're not looking into anything. So I already did my FEMA appeal. That's going to take at least 3 months. So that I'm not looking to get back an answer from FEMA until maybe February or March.
And that is if they actually respond, right?
If they do decide they want to talk to you without denying you or anything like that.
How about did anyone look in a direction like the Red Cross?
Yes. Red Cross, they came out. They did. They went out to all the homes. They offer some cleaning supplies. Keep in mind, the Red Cross main goal was to help people who houses got damaged and could not find a place to stay. Unfortunately, the way the Red Cross was set up, that I couldn't use them because one, they were given a week by week hotel. And at the end of that, you had to go into a shelter. And there was no way I was going to put my parents in a shelter because my mom is diabetic and she needs to have her medication and she needs to cook a certain food that she has to eat. So we end up going out and rent an apartment. That's what we did.
Wow. A very, very sad situation again. And I hope your parents, I'm happy that you took the initiative and put them in a place where they can have some sort of comfort, so that they can still take care of their health and they can still live some sort of normalcy. I know, especially with elderly people, there's no place like home. So there's nowhere on earth that they can feel more at home like their actual home. And it's sad to see that they're not in their home right now.
And it's
Yep,
very
yep.
expensive for you. I mean, think about it. You can have the mortgage, you can have two loans, and you're pretty much paying rent right now.
Yeah,
That's
I honestly wish you guys could see this right now. As I'm talking, my mom is screaming and crying in the background
yeah. Jeez.
because she actually misses home. She cannot watch her Indian shows. She cannot cook. She can't have her grandkids over. They can't really much do anything.
Right. And at their age, like that's their comfort. They don't ask for much. They just want the comfort of their own home, right?
Yeah,
And
and everyone knows this. Any immigrant family that migrated to the United States, their whole goal is to work hard, bring up their kids properly, get a house, and retire and enjoy their retirement with their family and their communities and their surroundings. And it's hard. It's very hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's very very hard every day that you have to go through it and talk about it every day. It gets to you at times.
now, speaking of community, I know that you've been working diligently to get your parents back into their home and to really bring relief to some of the residents of that area that was affected. Uh, but you have also tried to get people to come out and support you guys in terms of when you do plan like the different events at different offices of elected officials. You need the support of the community. So I know one gentleman mentioned on Saturday that if five people show up, they're like, "What? Who?" But if we have a few hundred people that shows up and say, "Hey, we need help," they're gonna listen, right? So
That's absolutely correct.
do you have anything planned in the near future where we as a community can come together and show up and do some protesting or do something to bring awareness to the situation?
Absolutely. I'm planning staying with Japanese Sing right now. We're trying to either the first week in January or the second week in January, where we'll be going down to City Hall to make our voice heard, to make our voice here. But we need the community to come out and support us. This incident, what happened here in September 1st, could happen to any area in the United States. So we need everyone as a community, as one as a whole, to come out and make our voices heard, that the officials knew and hears these things. Keep in mind, we're having a new administration that's coming in. They're not going to be
Yeah.
brief and fill in on everything that happened over the past years. So they need to know what our goals and what our plans is and what the community needs right now. So this is the reason why we're going down to City Hall and we want our voices to be heard. And I encourage anyone who's here and who's on tonight. I know my buddy Tony Herbert, who's on here, is one of the biggest supporters I have, and he's been with us from day one. He's been helping me planning all these events. I know I saw Susan is on there as well, our chef.
Yes,
She's been
I did.
cooking for everyone for almost 2 months of her own pocket.
Wow.
She's taking out her own money and been cooking for the community. We're officials are supposed to be doing this. She's been taking her own money and cook for everybody in that community. So, Susan, thank you once again. Tony, thank you guys. And I do hope everyone come out and join us when we do this next protest. More info, I'll definitely send out the information when we have the date planned out.
And I will be happy to share it. In the meantime, I do want to encourage our viewers. Please send us any questions for Amit. Give us your feedback as to how you feel about the whole incident that happened, and Amit will be happy to answer questions. So we have a few minutes left. Please uh, comment. Tell us how you feel. Amit, my question to you: why do you feel in this area that there was no sort of relief? There was nothing done. Why do you think that is it is like that?
Shanice, it hurts me every time I say this, but I have to say it because these were actually words from one of our senior elected officials that said the city is 40 years late in fixing our neighborhood of Southeast Queens because of the skin color of the people that live there. The money was focused to the north side of Queens. When this elected official took office, he asked the question why, and that's the answer he was given by all the different agencies. So if I'm saying this, I'll say this out loud and broad tonight. If we were a different skin color, I guarantee it that this area and these communities and all these homeowners would have gotten help by all our different agencies. It's very sad to make me say this, but that's just the way I see it now because promises were made and none was fulfilled.
And when you, for anyone that's watching that does not understand or doesn't know the area very well as to what the uh, area, the people that lives in that area, can you explain to us the when you say color, the color of the people? What is
So
primarily the ethnicity of the people in that area?
so there's a lot of Guyanese people, a lot of Trinidadian people, a lot of Jamaicans, a lot of Bengali people, people from India, Philippines, Thailand, Haiti.
Mm,
I know I'm missing quite a few, but
So
we're a blend
minorities,
of yeah,
minorities.
minorities.
minorities. We are a big minority. I like to call everybody's countries out, so that's the reason why. But we're a big
Yeah.
minority community where we're like a big blended pot of everyone from all over the world.
Wow. Um, Go ahead.
Do you have any? I know last Saturday there was an event down there. Do you have anything else coming up for the community? Not a food drive. Are you planning to do anything besides? I know we talked about City Hall.
Well,
Is there
we're
anyone
trying
else
to.
planning?
We don't have anything planned as yet, but I'm definitely going to be reaching out to more people this week to see
Mhm.
if there's anything else anyone could do or assist the community in any different way. I've made a few phone calls. I've sent a few emails to different groups and different people, and I'm definitely hoping someone will definitely read those emails or get back to us with regard to helping the community out as well.
And I saw someone put in the comments earlier about a GoFundMe. Did you create one of those, or are you looking to create one of those?
I did create a GoFundMe for my parents, and if anyone does read the GoFundMe and do want some more information, please read it because every detail that's on that GoFundMe is accurate to 100%. I list all the insurance companies. I list the mortgage company. Keep in mind, my dad paid his mortgage a 1 year in advance. He calls the mortgage company to see if they could help him with a home equity, and they told him no. Keep in mind, he already paid his mortgage a year in advance. It's
Wow.
it's very sad.
So there is really no help at this point, and it looks like
At this point, no.
you have exhausted all of the possibilities, but you're not giving up.
No,
You're
absolutely not.
What is
You know, the whole
the name of the GoFundMe?
um oh boy, I don't have it off my head, but I'll definitely tell you what it is. Other thing as well is the homeowners actually signed a petition for a buyout in this
okay.
community because I think a buyout to start that talk with the city council and different officials. We understand that the city and the state is looking to build a middle school in Queens, and they're looking for land to build it. I think this area will be a perfect fit for that. They could come in and do what they need to do to the street, lift it up or lift the buildings up. But the homeowners definitely wants a buyout, and there's at least 15 or 16 people that already has signed a petition for a buyout, and we definitely regard. We did give that over to our city council people as well for them to look into that. Regards to the GoFund is Hurricane Ida relief for the Ship Assad family, and anyone please read it. I definitely want you to read it before making any judgment or making anything. Please read the details.
Now, Amit, you know, there's been a lot that happened, and I'm sure your head, you're still holding your regular job. You're still trying to keep your parents in line. I'm sure by now they've been going up and down their health, the way they feel about things. through it all, what would you say is one of the biggest frustrations for you right now? Because I'm sure you have several, but what is the one thing that you are so frustrated about with everything that's happening around you right now?
Well, the biggest frustration that I have right now is I have a deadline to get this house fixed by. But this order was given by departments of buildings. And as everyone knows, DOB, they give you something that needs to get done, or your house will be on a lien or be taken away. So I cannot afford for my parents' home that they work so hard for it to be taken away. So this is one of my biggest problem I have right now. At the same time, getting the community help. All these homeowners need financial help to rebuild every problem. There's people with sewer problems right now. Every other week they have to call a plumber, pay out of their own pocket. Somebody, their neighbor across from us just paid $3,000 to have someone come and clean their sewer line since this all started happening after the flood. So my biggest concern and my biggest frustration is the help for the community and try to get my parents back into their house. Those are the things that I'm really focused on right now.
All right. We do have the information, so anyone who's interested, there is a you can just post Angelita. With everything that you said here tonight and everything that I saw on Saturday that when I was there,
Sure.
one thing that comes to mind, there was a statement by the mayor, de Blasio, that he was quoted as saying that they sent out several warnings to residents and no one paid attention. It just seems like when we have these situations, they will keep sending these things out because residents do not pay attention. And that was his frustration. When you look back at what happened, do you feel that there was anything else that could have been done by the residents of that area to protect
Well,
themselves? Um,
no, we didn't. No one gave us warnings. The only warnings we got was the flash flood warnings, and we did our due diligence when that happened. My dad went down, like I said before, informed two times, informed the our people, our tenants down in the basement that to come upstairs and there's going to be a flood. The area, the community, the area, the people in the area and the community did their due diligence as well. They all came out, start doing their catch basins and clean everything like we normally do. So I'm not sure what warning they said people did not follow, because as
yeah,
far as I know, everyone did their due diligence that night. And if we didn't do it, more people would have died in that area. I'll tell you, because you can see how high that water got.
yeah,
Well, most of those warnings, they really tell you to stay off the roads. So where if you stay off the road,
Correct,
what
pretty
do you
much.
just
There
stay in
you
your
go.
house? And
There
exactly.
you
so
go.
really, it sounds just like he's just trying to like
Yeah.
you know make up something that a warning that but it wasn't it's not true.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you
It's
guys
just a
100%
fake
on that.
warning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amit, before you leave us here tonight, I'm sure there are many people that you want to acknowledge, you want to give your gratitude to. I know you mentioned Suzanne, and I do want to thank Suzanne for everything that she's been doing in the community. Is there anyone else, or is there any other messages that you want to send out there to the viewers and to anyone who has been there for you?
Absolutely. First of all, I must thank you, Shaniza, for doing this, for helping bring this awareness. Also, like to thank the Corrections Daisy Society and their president and representatives for bringing this awareness out as well. The community board, um, my good friend Al Canoe, who's part of our local team that works with Japneets and Vishal and everyone. Um, I have to give this gentleman the biggest compliment that out of every politician I've dealt with, Gregory Meeks. This man went into his own pocket and took money out and bought mattresses for everybody in that league. You can't ask for a better person than that. He
Wow.
did that on his own. So I must give him his credit for that, his due. Kat Lesler from the Queensboro President Office. She has been bringing vegetables and food for the community as well. So I have to give Kat her credit. Susan, own money, owned from her pocket to bring food almost every day for a 2 to 3 month period, a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner, something a day. And these are the people that mostly I want to thank. Also, there's so many people. The Queens the Queens Lions Club community that was there Saturday, the Show of Heart Foundation
Yes.
that was there, came out and did all their donations and everything. So if I'm missing anyone, I'm deeply sorry, but you guys know who you are. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing it for the community and keep doing it.
I believe a World Care organization was
Work
there, the
Here
Rotary Club,
organization,
right?
yes.
Yep, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, there, absolutely.
Yeah, Work Here was out there and handing out heaters and bread, and it
Yes.
was just so much love, and I could that day I just felt so I was touched to see the families and to see the support and love that the community, when they come together, what they can do. So I do want to thank everyone, and again, if we missed anyone, my apologies, but Saturday was truly a moment and a time to remember, to really see if a community come together, what they can create. Amit, I do want to thank you for being here this evening. I want to thank my co-host and you, the viewers. Please continue to share our live when we're live. Please continue to share. The show goes on Wednesday. We'll be live with a whole new Christmas spectacular. So join us then. In the meantime, take care of yourself, your loved ones. Stay true to who you are, and always be real. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.